Is your cat deaf or blind? If so, you might have trouble telling if they love you, because they are limited in how they can express themselves and communicate. But don't worry, they do, and these are the signs to prove it. This is a video of 2 parts. First, let's talk about blind cats. But don't worry, all you pet parents to deaf cats, they'll get to be the stars of the second half. First up, let's talk blind cats and the signs that they love you. Both signs that are common amongst all cats, and those exclusive to cats who differently abled. This may seem obvious to say, but let's get the obvious one out of the way. Blind cats rely heavily on sound to navigate the world. Of course they do, and that includes not just finding you, but how they interact with you. If your blind cat frequently moves towards your voice, or even follows you around the house by listening incredibly intently, that is an obvious sign that they want to be around you, so they're using your voice, or even footsteps if you're wearing noisy shoes, as their guide to find you. This means they associate you, in particular, your voice, with safety, comfort, companionship, and love. Aww. Given how tough or even scary navigating the world without sight might be, you should be very, very proud if your blind fluffball has come to know that so long as they go towards where your voice is, they'll be okay. From bunting to kneading, more on that in a bit, to curling up in your lap, most cats use touch as a major way to connect with pet parents. But for blind cats, touch is even more significant. They'll rub against your legs, press their heads into your hands, or give significantly more enthusiastic headbutts than normal. Blind cats will even explore with their mouths. So if your cat licks or gently nibbles you, it's a loving gesture. If your cat chooses to sleep near you, that's a tight bond right there. In fact, I've got a whole video on that subject you should check out at some point. But something I didn't cover in that video is that given how much more blind cats rely on you, they are much more likely to want to sleep in the same bed as you or even on you. This is kind of an extension of the first 2 points. Think about it. If a blind cat needs sound and touch to help them navigate the world around them and to connect with their precious human, they are definitely going to want to be close to you at night, because you are their source of comfort and love. It's your voice and your touch that keeps them feeling safe and loved. And when do people want to feel the safest and most loved? At nighttime. Nighttime is the spookiest of times. So instead of sleeping far away from you and then having to find you if they're spooked by midnight gremlins, they sleep right next to you. Lots of cats need their pet parents. And when I say need, I mean K-N-E-A-D, not N-E-E-D. If you don't know what need in this sense means, you will no doubt be familiar with it. Kneading is what some people rather adorably call making biscuits. That cute little act where your cat climbs up on you and then pushes and presses your stomach like they're playing bagpipes. They properly knuckle down like it's a job, like you're a keyboard and they're typing. This is a common sign of contentment in cats. If your cat does this to you, that's a great sign, and it's very clear they love you. Even if the exact reason as to why they do it is unclear, though my favorite theory is because it reminds them of nursing as a kitten, which is almost too cute. But blind cats will do this a lot more than a non-blind cat. As mentioned earlier, a blind cat relies on touch so much more. Kneading like this is more than a simple display of love for a blind cat. It's a way of helping them feel tangibly connected to not just their environment, but you, their beloved human, by getting tactile with you. I mentioned that blind cats rely on sound a lot more than non-blind cats, and this goes both ways. It's not just about hearing sounds, but creating sounds. Blind cats rely so much more on vocalizations like meowing and purring to communicate with you and stay connected to you. Think of these extra vocal outbursts as being their equivalent of yelling out, "Hey, I love you, where are you? Let's hug, gosh darn it." If you have a blind or semi-blind cat who calls out more often than they used to before they were blind, if their loss of a sight is a recent development, that is, it's key to reply and connect with them when they do vocalize. Because remember, they cannot see you. They are calling out because they love you and they want to know you are there. So the best thing you can do is to talk right back and say something like, "What up, fluffy buddy? I'm right here and I love you." I mean, you can say whatever you want, but science does suggest calling them fluffy buddy is the right thing to do. And who are we to disagree with actual science? Most cats get into rhythms. They like certain things to happen at certain times because that's what they know. They expect food at the same time. They expect you back home at the same time. It gives their otherwise pretty chilled out and relaxed life something of a structure. Sure, they may deviate within that structure. A cheeky little case of the zoomies here, a random scratching session there, but otherwise they stick to the routine they have come to know and love. The routine you gave them through virtue of it being part of your routine. And that's a large part of why they love it, because it reflects their dynamic with you. But blind cats require consistency more than most. If you've given them a ritual-heavy life, they will love it. And their adherence to that structure is a very clear sign of both love and attachment. Just because they can't see doesn't mean they're okay being blind. A blind cat is still a cat after all. And what is a cat if not a fluffy ball of energy desperate to have as much fun as they can? There's just one major caveat. If you cannot see who you're playing with, that is obviously a nerve-wracking experience. So a degree of trust has to be built. A sense of safety has to be nurtured. And both those things are born from love. If your blind cat plays with you with all the goofy, hyperactive, carefree energy you'd normally associate with a non-blind cat, despite their disability, that is a crystal clear sign that you mean everything to them, and they want to engage with you and have a little fun even if they cannot see what's going on, especially because they know they'll be safe if they do. So that's our first half over. Time for a quick ad break. Would you also like to watch videos about dogs? Then why not check out the YouTube channel Smelly Bellies? I've heard the time over there is very lovely. With that out of the way, time for... Now it's time to talk about deaf cats and the way in which they let you know they love you, because I promise they do. I won't go into too many deets about this one, as we covered it with blind cats. But deaf cats also increase how much they use touch as a love language. From bunting, to kneading, to rubbing against your face, to dramatically flopping around to ballet dancing. If they can show you they love you physically, they will. So if your deaf cat is a very physically affectionate little goose, that's a fluffball who proudly loves their human. Just like blind cats, deaf cats find comfort in your presence. If they choose to nap in your lap, cuddle against your body, or sleep near your belongings, it's a sign of love and trust. So just like how with blind cats we got the obvious thing out the way first, let's do the same with deaf cats. They can't hear you. This means visual cues are everything to them. For that reason, your dear fur baby will consistently ensure you are in their line of sight more often. This may lead to them shadowing you around the house a heck of a lot more than they might have done if they weren't deaf, or before they lost their hearing, if it's a recent development. If your cat is deaf and they frequently look at you, watching your movements with such intense focus, it's like you're the teacher and they're the pupil at a dance class, or even just checks in on where you are. It's their way of connecting with you and showing that they care. When one sense is taken from us, one or more of the others may increase. Or at least, that's the case of Marvel's Daredevil comic books. Right? I mean, that's how they're believed anyway. For this reason, deaf cats are much more receptive to vibrations. At times, this can even make it seem like they're not deaf at all. You might come home and they suddenly come running to the door. It's lovely, it's cute, but how did they hear you? What witchcraft be this? You've not been lied to. They're deaf, but they become so highly attuned to vibrations that they literally felt your footsteps re-vibrate around the house. So they came a-rushing. We all know that cats have eye contact as a major communication tool, since they can't hear your voice. Deaf cats use their eyes to communicate. One of the main ways they do this is with slow blinks. A slow blink from a cat is their version of a kiss, something you can hear all about in some of our other videos. If your cat does this, they are expressing affection and trust, and of course, love. Given that they can rely on a sound, a deaf cat will utilize cute little slow blinks far more often than a non-deaf cat. If your deaf cat gets visibly excited when you enter the room, like running toward you or even hopping on furniture, maybe greeting you with a tail flick, this means they're happy to see you. That should seem obvious, as cats who have a loving relationship with their pet parents might express that by rushing toward them. But some cats don't. Some cats will be a touch more subtle, and a deaf cat is much more likely to be in the former category than the latter. And that's how you know if your blind or deaf furball loves you. They might love you so much, they get a bit clingy even. And if you want to know if your cat is too clingy, this next video is the one to watch.